She mocked my outfit at the wedding, but everyone gasped when I arrived with the groom. Please stay with me as I tell my story. And please, do not forget to support our channel by subscribing to our channel, liking our videos, and sharing your loved ones. Your support means the world to us. Now to our story. I was halfway across the reception hall when I heard it. Loud, sharp, and meant for everyone to hear. "Oh, honey," Brittany called out, her voice slicing through the music and chatter. "That's what you wore." I froze. My olive green dress suddenly felt like a neon sign. Heads turned. People stared. Some snickered. I could feel the blood rushing to my face, my palms damp with sweat. I wanted the floor to swallow me. Brittany was standing near the cake table, drink in hand, surrounded by her usual crowd. Perfect hair, perfect teeth, perfect white dress. She looked exactly how you'd expect a bride like Brittany to look. She smiled sweetly at me, the kind of smile that isn't kind at all. The room fell into a low murmur as people turned their eyes on me. My dress wasn't even ugly. It was simple, tasteful, with a soft satin sheen and a low back. But it wasn't designer. It wasn't one of the pastel tones she'd asked for. It was mine. I picked it on purpose. I walked a little slower, pretending not to notice the whispers or the smirks. I held my head up, even though my stomach twisted in knots. She always did this. Made me feel small in a room full of people. Like I didn't belong, like I was a joke. She used to be my best friend. We grew up together. She was always the center of attention, and I was the quiet one, the tag-along. The girl she'd take under her wing, she used to say. What that really meant was letting me hang around just so she'd have someone to mock when she got bored. And I let her. For years. But not today. I didn't walk into that wedding alone. I came with someone. Someone who had every reason not to be standing beside me. Someone who made the crowd gasp when they saw him walking toward me from the other side of the room, not toward the bride. Ryan. Yes, that Ryan. The groom. He didn't say a word. He just walked right up to me, placed a hand on the small of my back, and smiled. The room went dead silent. Brittany's smile cracked. Her eyes darted between me and him, confusion turning to horror. And just like that, her perfect day wasn't so perfect anymore. People think bullying ends after high school. It doesn't. Not when the bully is charming, rich, and knows how to twist every insult into a compliment. I met Brittany in 7th grade. She was the girl everyone wanted to be. Glossy hair, expensive shoes, parents who bought her a car on her 16th birthday. I was the opposite. Quiet. Plain. My mom worked 2 jobs. Most of my clothes came from clearance racks. But Brittany adopted me. That's what she called it. She used to joke that I was her charity case. She'd laugh and say, "I make you cool just by letting you stand next to me." I'd laugh too. Because back then, I thought maybe she meant well. Looking back, she didn't. High school was all about her. Brittany got the guys, the solo parts in choir, the party invites. I was always there, but never seen. If we took group pictures, she'd crop me out. If I wore something new, she'd call it brave, in that tone that meant the opposite. Once, I caught her telling someone I smelled like my dad's garage. We didn't even have a garage. College wasn't much better. We ended up at the same school. Her choice, not mine. She rushed a sorority. I didn't get in. She dated the captain of the lacrosse team. I studied in the library while she partied. But I was still her best friend, at least when it suited her. She liked to keep me around. It made her feel generous. I tried to pull away a few times. Every time, she'd reel me back with something sweet. A birthday dinner, a handwritten note, once even a necklace, which I later found out she'd regifted from another friend. I wasn't allowed to have boundaries. Saying no to her was like poking a hornet's nest. She always had a way of making me feel guilty. If I missed one of her events, she'd cry. If I told her she hurt my feelings, she'd say I was too sensitive. "You know I love you," she'd say. "You're like a sister to me." But her version of sisterhood was poison wrapped in pink ribbon. Even after college, nothing changed. She controlled group chats, vacations, brunch invites. She even told me what colors looked better for my skin tone. Translation: don't wear anything she wanted to wear herself. I let it happen for years. I stayed quiet. I made excuses. But now, after everything, I'm done being her scapegoat. And she's about to find out what happens when the girl you mock learns how to stand on her own. The invitation came in a glittery envelope, hand-addressed in gold ink like it was some kind of royal decree. "You're cordially invited to celebrate the future Mr. and Mrs. Whitmore." I almost didn't go. I stared at the card for days, sitting on my kitchen counter like a taunt. But some part of me needed to see it for myself, to confirm what I already suspected. Brittany was engaged. And not just to anyone. To Ryan. Yes, that Ryan. The one I used to stay up late texting in college. The one who kissed me in the library after weeks of flirting, then vanished 2 weeks later, only to start dating Brittany out of nowhere. I never told anyone we were a thing. It was private, quiet, real, or at least I thought it was. I remember how Brittany introduced him back then. "Isn't he just dreamy?" like he was some kind of trophy she'd won at a fair. I didn't say a word. What could I say? So, I went to the party. It was held at some rooftop venue downtown, decked out in fairy lights and champagne towers. Brittany made her entrance in a white satin dress, blowing kisses like a pageant queen. The second she saw me, her eyes lit up, not with joy, with opportunity. She air-kissed my cheek and said, loud enough for nearby guests to hear, "Jess, you came. I almost didn't recognize you without your hoodie. This is such a big step for you." I smiled, bit my tongue. Let her have it. The whole evening was like that. Every toast she gave had a dig baked in. To old friends who've seen every awkward stage, and somehow still have the same haircut. To people who taught me what not to look for in a boyfriend. Cue laughter. Even when she wasn't speaking, she was smirking. I was the joke she never tired of telling. But then she made the announcement. Microphone in hand, grinning from ear to ear, Brittany clinked her glass. "I just want to say," she beamed, "I'm the luckiest woman alive. I found my soulmate, even if someone else found him first." The crowd laughed. I didn't. My stomach dropped. She looked right at me when she said it. And that was it. That was the moment. The last straw. I laughed along. I drank my wine. I played my part like always. But something changed that night. She thought she was showing off. She had no idea she just declared war. It started with a message. One stupid little message at 12:43 a.m. "Ryan, hey. I know this is random, but can we talk? I owe you an apology." I stared at my screen for a full minute. My heart thudded in my chest. I hadn't spoken to him in years. Not since he ghosted me in college and magically reappeared on Brittany's arm like I'd imagined the whole thing. I almost deleted it, but curiosity got the better of me. "Me what for?" He replied instantly. "Ryan, for how things went down. You deserved an explanation. Brittany told me you were just a friend, that I was reading too much into things between us. I didn't know what to think, but I knew something didn't feel right." I didn't answer right away. I tossed my phone aside and went to brush my teeth. I paced. I overthought it. Then I picked it up again. "Me, you disappeared without a word. That's not on her. That's on you. Ryan, you're right. And I'm sorry. I was a coward, but I'd really like to talk in person." "In person?" I hesitated. Every cell in my body screamed that this was a terrible idea, but part of me needed to hear it. After all these years of playing along, I needed one truth that hadn't been filtered through Brittany. So I said yes. We met at a coffee shop 2 days later. I wore no makeup and old sneakers on purpose, like I needed to prove I didn't care. But the second he walked in, tall and familiar and nervous, all of that went out the window. He looked at me like I was real, like he remembered. We talked for hours. He admitted everything. Brittany had seen our texts and flipped. She told him I was obsessed, emotionally unstable, that I'd made it all up. He said he believed her because he didn't want to deal with the drama. Then he paused and said, "I regret it. Not just how it ended, but that I let her convince me you didn't matter." It was the first honest thing he'd ever said to me. We started texting after that. Just casual at first. Then not so casual. Jokes turned flirty. Flirty turned into late-night calls. And slowly, piece by piece, he started telling me things. About Brittany. About the way she controlled him. Manipulated stories. Made him feel guilty for everything. He said, "She wants everything to look perfect, even when it's not." I didn't say it out loud, but I thought it. I know the feeling. The bridesmaid dress arrived in a crumpled plastic garment bag with no note. Just my name on a sticky tag and a delivery receipt that said final sale, no returns. It was awful. Seafoam green. Puffy sleeves. A neckline that sagged and bunched in all the wrong places. The kind of dress someone would wear as a joke on a bachelorette trip, not to a wedding with 200 guests and professional photographer. I texted Brittany. "Me, hey, I think there's been a mix-up with my dress." Brittany, "LOL, no mix-up, babe. That's the one I picked just for you, winking face, trust me. It's super flattering in person." Sure it was. I stared at the hideous thing hanging in my room and realized something. She didn't even try to hide it anymore. She wanted me to look ridiculous. She wanted to make sure when I walked down that aisle, people whispered. But I didn't care. Not this time. Because every time she tried to push me down, Ryan pulled me back up. We talked constantly now. He sent me songs that reminded him of college night. Told me stories about Brittany, how she made him block old friends, how she cried every time he talked about a career she didn't approve of, how nothing was ever enough. And when we met in person again, things went further. It wasn't planned. It wasn't some dramatic hotel scene. It was simple. A touch on my hand that lingered too long, a silence that filled with meaning, and then his mouth on mine in the parking lot of a grocery store, like we couldn't hold it in anymore. And no, I didn't feel guilty. Not one bit. Because I started to see everything for what it was. The bridal showers where Brittany made me sit at the kids' table because she was out of seats. The group chat where my name was spelled wrong. The registry gift she accidentally marked me down for, a $400 blender. It wasn't bad luck. It was all planned. Every wine glass toast she gave started with, "I just feel so lucky to have friends who put up with me." Like she was the lovable villain in a sitcom, not a real person who knew exactly how to cut you with a smile. But I smiled too. I showed up. I clapped when she walked in. She thought I was still playing her game, but I wasn't playing anymore. I was waiting. Because when everything looks perfect, one tiny spark is all it takes to burn the whole thing down. Brittany had one rule for the rehearsal dinner: no one wears olive. She made a whole speech about it during brunch the week before. It's a muddy color. It doesn't photograph well. It's just blah. Then she looked right at me when she said it, like she was daring me to try. So I did. The dress was simple, silky fitted, with thin straps and a subtle slit on the side. It hugged in all the right places. I curled my hair just enough, kept my makeup soft. No flashy jewelry, no statement shoes. Just me, looking the way she never expected, calm, quiet, and stunning. When I walked in, the room didn't fall silent, but heads turned. I saw it happen. Brittany spotted me across the patio and stiffened like someone just slapped her. Her jaw clenched so hard I could see the muscles twitch. She marched up, all fake smiles and white teeth. "Jess," she said, taking a long sip of champagne. "You got the color memo, right?" I blinked. "Oh, I thought you said no lime. This is olive." People nearby chuckled. Light, polite laughter, but enough to make her eyes flash. "You really do like pushing buttons, don't you?" she said under her breath. Before I could answer, Ryan walked over. He looked me up and down, not subtly. "You look incredible," he said, a little too loudly. "I don't remember you ever wearing that color before." "I was told it wasn't allowed," I said with a small smile. Ryan smirked. "Well, that's a shame. It suits you better than anyone." The air around us tightened. Brittany's smile didn't reach her eyes anymore. She grabbed Ryan's arm, laughing like it was all harmless fun. "You're so sweet," she said, always defending the underdog. That was the moment the first crack showed. People watched, waited. Something about the way she said it didn't sit right. It wasn't funny, it was mean. Ryan gently pulled his arm from hers. "Jess isn't an underdog," he said. "She's just never tried to steal the spotlight like some people." And just like that, the energy shifted. After dinner, I slipped out onto the side terrace. The night was warm, quiet. I heard footsteps, then Ryan's voice. I meant what I said, you know. You don't need to dim your light around her. I turned to face him, heart pounding. "I don't plan to anymore." He stepped closer. I didn't back away. And then he kissed me. Soft. Real. Not a maybe or a what if, a yes. And for the first time in years, I let myself kiss him back. The text came at 7:42 a.m. "Brittany, hey Jess. Don't worry about coming today. We're keeping things super tight. Thanks for understanding, 2 hearts." That was it. No explanation. No call. Just a lazy little message like I was some extra she forgot to cut from the guest list. I stared at my phone, not even shocked. This was classic Brittany. Cut people out when they don't play by her rule. She didn't care about loyalty, friendship, or how things used to be. She just wanted control. And now that Ryan wasn't fully under it anymore, I was disposable. I didn't reply. Instead, I stood up, walked to my closet, and unzipped the garment bag. No seafoam nightmare today. Today, I wore olive. The same dress she mocked. The one she banned. The one Ryan said made me glow. I slipped it on slowly, like armor. Let my hair fall loose around my shoulders. Light makeup, just enough. Lip gloss, gold hoops. A final look in the mirror. I didn't look like a wedding guest. I looked like a woman ready for battle. An hour later, I heard the knock. Ryan. Not in a tux. Not on his way to the altar. He stood there in jeans and a white t-shirt, eyes tired, jaw set like he hadn't slept. "She uninvited you." I nodded. He let out a soft laugh, more tired than amused. "She screamed at me when I wouldn't block your number. Threw a shoe at the wall. Cried, then screamed again. Told me if I didn't delete you from my life, I was ruining hers." I raised a brow. "And what did you say to that?" He took a deep breath. I said maybe it was already ruined. Silence. Then he looked at me, really looked. "I can't marry her," he said. "Not when I feel this way about you." My heart pounded. "Are you sure?" "I should have said this years ago," he said. "But I was scared. She made it so easy to believe her version of everything. I don't want to live in her world anymore." I swallowed hard. "So what now?" He smiled. "Now we crash a wedding." I laughed. The kind that starts in your chest and escapes before you can stop it. We left together. He drove. And as we pulled into the venue lot, my fingers brushed the fabric of my dress. The one she hated. The one she said would never work. But the moment I stepped out of that car and the guests turned to stare, I knew. It worked better than she ever imagined. The music was already playing when we arrived. Soft string quartet, all very elegant, very Brittany. Guests milled around the reception hall with flutes of champagne and polite smiles, waiting for the bride to make her grand entrance. No one noticed the side door open. Not at first. Then Ryan stepped through. With me. On his arm. Every head turned. A few people gasped, loud enough to make others look up from their phones and drinks. You could feel the confusion spread like a slow ripple. One by one, conversations died off. There I was, in the olive green dress she swore would ruin the aesthetic, standing tall beside the man she was supposed to marry. Some guests looked away. Some stared. A few whispered behind napkins. But we kept walking. Calm. Steady. Like we belonged. And then we saw her. Brittany was standing just outside the main doors, holding her bouquet, perfectly posed for the big walk down the aisle. She looked exactly how she wanted to, glowing, delicate, all lace and curls. Until she saw us. She froze. Her lips parted, but no sound came out. Her eyes locked on Ryan first, then shifted to me, to my dress, my hand on his arm, my unbothered face. Then her expression cracked. It was quick, the kind of flicker most people would miss. But I caught it. The panic, the disbelief, the rage. She dropped the bouquet. "What the hell is this?" she hissed. Ryan didn't flinch. "You wanted a big scene," he said calmly. "Here it is." A few guests had started filming, phones angled just enough to catch everything but not seem obvious. Brittany's voice rose. "You're ruining my wedding. You ruined it yourself," he said. "The second you turned it into a performance." I didn't say anything. I didn't need to. Just being there, beside him, said enough. Brittany looked around, eyes wide, searching for support, but the crowd wasn't reacting the way she wanted. No one rushed to defend her. No one stepped between us. Someone near the back muttered, "Guess this wasn't on the seating chart." A few people snorted. Brittany's face flushed red. "You're embarrassing yourself," she spat at me. I smiled. Just slightly. "Funny. I feel great." She opened her mouth to scream something else, but Ryan held up a hand. "Don't," he said. "We're done pretending." And with that, we turned and walked further into the room, guests parting without a word. Behind us, the music had stopped, so had her perfect little world. It only took 30 seconds for Brittany to unravel completely. The moment we walked past her and into the center of the reception hall, something snapped. Her soft bridal persona vanished like smoke. The fake laugh, the careful posture, the sugary voice, all gone. "You're seriously doing this?" she screamed, her voice bouncing off the high ceiling. "You're dumping me in front of everyone?" Every guest froze. Nobody knew where to look. Some pretended to check their phone. Others just watched, like a car crash in slow motion. Ryan didn't raise his voice. He just turned to face her, calm and steady. "I'm not dumping you," he said. "I'm walking away. There's a difference." Brittany blinked like she didn't understand the words. "After everything I've done for you? I gave up so much to be with you." Ryan's jaw tightened. "No, you gave up nothing. You demanded everything. My job. My friends. My choices. You planned our life like it was a Pinterest board." She threw her hands up, stepping closer. "So what? You'd rather throw it away for her?" I didn't move. I didn't speak. I just stood there, watching the meltdown like everyone else. "She's boring," Brittany spat, jabbing a finger toward me. "She doesn't have a real job, she wears off-brand makeup, and she's always been jealous of me." "She's real," Ryan said, cutting her off. "That's what matters." That hit harder than any slap. Brittany's whole body flinched. She turned, searching the crowd, but the support she was used to wasn't there. Her mom looked mortified. Her cousin mouthed "Oh my God" to someone beside her. One of her bridesmaids backed toward the buffet table. Brittany's voice cracked. "You're going to regret this. Both of you. Everyone will know what kind of trash you are." Ryan sighed. "They already know what kind of person you are. They just pretended not to see it." She tried again. "This is supposed to be my day." "It was never just one day," he said quietly. "It was always going to be a life. And I couldn't do it." Silence. Brittany's eyes filled with tears, but not the kind that made people feel sorry for her. These were angry, frustrated, humiliated tears. The kind that come when the mask finally shatters and there's nothing behind it but spite. Then she screamed. Full volume, hands in the air, throw your shoes kind of scream. And still, no one moved to stop her. I stayed still, composed, like a woman watching the final scene of a play she's seen 100 times. Because this was the end of the show, and she'd written it herself. 3 days later, everything had calmed down, at least on the surface. Brittany deleted every photo from her wedding page. The event was labeled postponed on social media, but everyone already knew the truth. Group chats were full of screenshots, whispered updates, and wild theory. Her meltdown had gone semi-viral. One guest even uploaded a blurry clip of her screaming in her bridal gown. The comments were brutal. I didn't say anything publicly. I didn't need to. Ryan and I kept quiet. We spent those days doing nothing and everything at once. Sitting on the couch, eating takeout, watching old movies, holding hands like the world wasn't still buzzing around us. No fancy posts. No big announcements. Just us finally. Then one night, I posted a single photo. It was from that day, the moment before we walked into the reception hall. Someone had snapped it without me noticing. I stood in the olive green dress, looking to the side, sunlight hitting my hair just right. No caption, just a photo. Within an hour, the comments rolled in. This color was made for you. Fire, fire, fire. Showstopper. No notes. Tell Brittany to take several seats. Main character energy. And then, buried halfway down, was one that made me smile without meaning to. Ryan, told you that color would turn heads. No likes. No hearts. Just that one line. Quiet. Personal. I read it twice, then again. It wasn't about revenge anymore. It wasn't about proving anything. It was just peace. I finally saw myself how I should have all along. Not through Brittany's lens or through people's gossip, but clearly. No filters. No apologies. I thought back to all the times I'd let her opinions shape me, from what I wore, to how I spoke, to who I believed I was. Not anymore. Ryan reached over and looked at the photo on my phone. You were the only one who looked happy that day, he said. I shrugged. I was. He leaned in, kissed the side of my head, and said softly, You're even more dangerous when you're quiet. I laughed. Somewhere out there, Brittany was probably plotting her comeback. She'd spin a new version of the story, paint herself as the victim, and pretend none of it was her fault. But I didn't care, because while she was busy trying to win a crowd, I finally won something real. And this time, I wasn't giving it back.